I lost £8,000 about 4 years ago, and I lost this because I was naive and I was absolutely stupid. Making money in property is one thing, but losing money is just as common. So today's video is how you can lose money in property. So I could probably do at least 300 videos just on my mistakes, but what I'm going to do is stick to 5 ways that you can lose money in property if you're not careful. So as always, remember there are 50 videos already planned in this free training course, and a lot of this information I've taken from the last 8 years of being a landlord, but I've also taken it from the £15,000 plus that I've spent on courses. And one of the things I recognized was most of the learning is done when you're in the trenches and you're actually working. So what I want to do is ensure that you don't spend or waste thousands and thousands and you get that information for free off this channel. And then after that, of course, you should be well equipped to get on your way to making money and not losing money like this video is about to show you. Number 1. So the first is to trust or buy into a fake mentor or a course or a webinar or something selling you a pipeline dream. Now you've seen it. I know you've seen it. I know you've seen these people out there saying, hey, do you want to be just like me? I wanna be like Mike. Pow! And then they tell you this incredible sob story, almost like an episode of X Factor.
Everybody has a sob story. Everybody. Everybody has some terrific, horrible injustice that's been committed to them. Now, but the culture that we're living in today, it prioritizes and in fact rewards people who have the worst sob story.
And what they'll do is they'll try and pull on your heartstrings, and it's a very clever tactic, but I'm not going to go into that into this video. But what I want you to recognize is that money that you're going to spend with them, I promise you, you can not only find on this channel, but you can find it on the other hundreds of channels on YouTube and across Google for absolutely free. So save that money for when you go out there and actually invest. Point number 2, not having the right contracts in place. Now across property, you're going to have contracts for all sorts of things, whether this is for joint venture agreements, shareholder agreements, building contracts. I mean, there are so many contracts. And the reason I say not having the right contracts is important is because myself, I lost £8,000 about 4 years ago, and I lost this because I was naive and I was absolutely stupid. So what you want to make sure you have is something that at least holds up in court. Something, if you can get legal eyes to look over it, that's definitely better. But if you are constrained with money, at least just get the basic ones that you can download, like a JCT contract, and within that set your expectations. Now I do have some examples of this, so if you are interested, then please do reach out. Follow me over on my Instagram handle here, slide into my DMs, and I will send you that contract for absolutely free. Number 3, now this is my favorite point, and I need you to repeat it with me. Cheap is expensive. Cheap is expensive. Cheap is expensive. Okay, now let me explain that, because those 2 words, well, they kind of don't make sense, right? But they will. Now the reason I say cheap is expensive is because so often throughout our property journey, we're trying to save the pennies. We're trying to make shortcuts here and there. We're trying to buy cheaper materials, trying to find the cheapest builder. That's always the number 1 thing that we always look for. And we're just trying to make sure that we save as many pennies as we can to hopefully one day see the pounds mount up. So let me just explain this. Even if you're looking to get rid of a property and flip it very, very quickly, please take your time to make sure that the work is done properly. Now the reason I say this is because one of my earlier projects, I had some builders and I wanted it done cheap. I wanted it done quickly, and I wanted to save as many pennies as I possibly could. Now there was actually a few reasons for this, because I had just come off the back of what I mentioned on point 2 and I had lost a lot of money. So I needed to somehow make my money back. So anyway, fast forward this project, I renovated the project and I was ready to sell it. Then little did I know, British weather kicked in and the snow hit, and I basically couldn't sell the property. Now as this was on a bridge, I needed to make a decision, and I made the decision to keep this on my portfolio. Now thankfully I kept this on my portfolio because it's been a nice tidy earner, and I've recently just got it valued. In over 2 years it's gone up by £10,000, so that's capital appreciation, and that's a fantastic deal. But one of the things I struggled with was I was using cheap materials in certain places. Yes, I hold my hands up. I was making the odd shortcut. Now, as a result of that, I've had to go back and retrofit certain things. And the money that I initially saved, I've probably spent more money rectifying it, because sometimes it's easier when you go back to brick, which I'll explain in another video. Sometimes it's better just to spend that little bit more and really future-proof it. So make sure you're not being cheap. And the same goes with builders. The cheaper the builder, the chances are you're gonna find yourself in some deep trouble. Point number 4, not buying the property at the right price. Now, there's a common saying going around that you make money twice in property. And the first is when you buy it, and the second is when you exit, either via refinance or through selling it. And I kind of agree with that saying. You see, if you're not buying a property at the right price, you're gonna lose money, because you may not be able to add as much value to it. You may not be able to do the creative things that I'm gonna teach you on this channel to really drain the profit from that particular investment. And one of the things that many people don't know, and I never knew this, is that every property has a ceiling price. 99% of properties have ceiling prices. And the reason I say 99% is because I do have some really weird properties that even now I scratch my head about, that have literally broke the ceiling for a ceiling price. Wow, that's a lot of ceilings in a sentence. But I'll explain that in another video. So make sure that you buy at the right price. Now, this isn't the price that the vendor asked for or what the agent asked for. This is the price that when you've done your analysis, you think, this makes sense. This stacks like a good deal. This is the right yield or the right return on investment. Again, all these terminologies will start to make sense when you navigate your way through this channel, because the videos will give you all of the information that you require. And 5, not listening to the right people. Now, the amount of time I've spent helping people through phone calls, through messages for the last 4 years is close to the thousands. And I mean that with no exaggeration. You see many people reach out and say, I want to start in property, or can you help me? And the first thing I say is absolutely. And then I take a phone call with them and I spend some time giving them advice on not spending money on training programs, not to do this, make sure they do this, ensure that they have this in place. And then what I see is a few months down the line, they've taken all this information, they've started to feel good, and they've jumped on the bandwagon of either a fake mentor or some dodgy training company. And it's a really disheartening thing to see, because what I then recognize is that over the years, they're not really making that much progress, and all they're doing is making themselves feel good. You see, a lot of these people, what they'll do is they'll make you feel good. And we all want to feel good, right? I get that. But what I don't want to do in this channel is just make you feel good. I want to give you something that you walk away with and think, I'll make sure that either saves me money or makes me money. That's all I'm bothered about. I don't care too much for your motivational state. I don't care how much you're dancing when you're watching these videos. I just care that you're listening, you're taking this in, and you're saving that money for yourself and for your family. Make sure the first time you part with money is either on your brokers, your legal teams, your builders, and more importantly, your investment properties. So with that, I'm going to leave the video here, and don't forget to take advantage of that free 15-minute call, where if there's anything in this video or any of the other videos that I've done that you want me to elaborate, I'm more than happy to help you with it. So on that note, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you subscribed. I hope you've hit that notification bell, like the video, and please do drop a comment down below and let me know if you found this video useful. And until next time, thanks for watching.